Hey everyone, Christian here with some between chapter bonus content for you. This is the Ask the Once and Future Nerd audience Q&A that we recorded last month. Sneak preview, we spent like 35% of the time answering audience questions about Chapter 9, and about 65% of the time arguing over who is the sexiest character in our show. It was a lot of fun to record, and I think it'll be fun to listen to. But first, some show announcements, starting with some very exciting personal news, which is that Zach, my co-producer, became a dad at the end of last year. So lots of love to Zach and the fam. Mom, dad, and baby are all doing great, just very tired and very busy, as you might imagine. The upshot of that, though, is that we're going to have a longer break than we've been having between chapters 9 and 10. That's so Zach can give his family the attention they deserve, so that I don't burn out trying to do double duty, and so that we can do the conclusion of Book 2 justice, because Chapter 10 will be the final chapter of Book 2, and you may have noticed we have a lot of big plot stuff to resolve. It's shaping up to be a pretty epic chapter, so we want to make sure that it's epic and good. So in any case, our Patreon is currently paused. It's going to remain paused until we post otherwise, so stay tuned for all of our socials for news on that front and about when the new chapter is going to start. We will keep you updated as soon as there's something to tell, and in the meantime, enjoy this Q&A.
Wait, is it connected? Do I log off, or is that it?
Yeah, you can.
Do I just close it?
Yeah, you can leave the clean feed.
Okay.
You can leave the clean feed. Sorry, my screens won't turn on, so I just try to figure.
No worries.
But yeah, you guys feel free.
Please tell me you recorded that. I hope that was recorded.
Wait.
Perfect.
Such professionals.
Yeah.
Okay, bye guys.
All right.
Bye, y'all.
See you. Bye.
Later.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a not live, to a post-edited, audio-only Ask the Once and Future Nerd for Book 2, Chapter 9. I am Christian, the director and co-producer of the show, and I am joined today by Paul Notice, who plays Nelson. How's it going, Paul?
Hey.
I am joined by...
That's all I got.
That's good enough.
Sorry.
That's all you need. I am joined by Dan Dobransky, who plays probably every male voice that you don't recognize in the show. Hi, Dan.
Hello, how is everyone?
We are good, tech issues aside. We're also joined by Anya Gibeon, who plays Arlene and Regan. Hi, Anya.
Hello. And all the Baileys.
All the Baileys. The many, many Baileys. And I'm joined by Greg Schultz, who plays Yelloween and who wrote quite a bit of this chapter we're talking about today. So we're going to be talking about Book 2, Chapter 9. We're going to be answering questions that listeners have submitted to us. I guess I'll do a quick recap of Book 2, Chapter 9. In this chapter, entitled A Handful of Bodyguards, our main party arrives at the town of Pacific Ridge, which is west of the mountains, where they learn that the town is basically in constant turmoil because of two rival gangs that basically run the town. After kind of getting the lay of the land from some of the locals, they figure out a plan to basically play the gangs against each other and come out on top. So there's a lot of the time of the chapter is spent with that. We also have Yildick dealing with the aftermath of the conspiracy to assassinate her parents and fleeing the White Forest for the first time in her life. And we have a long interlude with Maguire and Ursulax the dragon, where Maguire pursues the ingredients needed to make a restorative potion for his injuries, and in the process we learn a good bit about Maguire's backstory and about the dragon. I think we got a couple of like really kind of quick questions that are kind of just like a one sentence answer. So I think we'll knock those off first. The first question of those, Kat via Tumblr asks, are the generic Western and Southern accents we've seen in the town related to Elven accents, or are they just fun scenery? For me, kind of deciding that everyone in that town would have like a Western accent was kind of like, we sound is the only and the best way that we have to kind of convey and evoke setting in audio. You know, we can't like dress a set, we can't use different cameras or anything like that. Obviously we can, you know, choose sound effects, but the way people talk does a lot of work in terms of like setting a scene. And so I think the initial idea was, okay, we need a quick way to tell the audience, like, okay, before when you were imagining European fantasy, now imagine a Western. And then to kind of like back into how that could possibly make sense, there's this idea that there have been kind of separate waves of Elven colonization that have happened in Jordan, much the same way that there was Spanish colonization of this continent and then English colonization, and so you have kind of these different cultures that had like different languages informing the common tongue, and it's a little bit hand wavy to be totally honest, but it is kind of like here's how we get to where we need to get for evoking these settings. So that's my kind of showrunner answer. I'm curious for especially Dan and Greg, who had a lot of fun playing Vanderberg and Weston, if you wanted to contribute anything about what finding those voices was like.
Well, you know, again, it's like you were talking about in the fantasy side, where I always imagining more lush backgrounds. So to go to Western, it does and tend to lend more towards like really gruff, scratchy voices, just for the desert side of the aesthetic.
The big fight was it was so great, and that was more live together than I thought it was going to be, and that was really good for me, and I think it came out very well. Okay, so next question that we have. Also, Kat was busy. Kat is always busy for these streams, but Kat was particularly busy. On this one, did you name the dragon after a Little Mermaid-themed porn star, i.e. Ursula XXX, or what was the inspiration for the dragon's name, which is Ursulax? This is a quick one. Named in honor of Ursula K. Le Guin. Then our dragons have this kind of like producing different gametes at different times in their life, which takes some inspiration from the idea of Kemer in Left Hand of Darkness. So that was my little citing my sources to name the dragon Ursulax. And also, is it too late to change that one slimy elf politician's name to Palpatine? I cannot remember what the actual name is. Yes, it is. We have recorded the chapter. Good joke, but yes, too late to change the name. Thank you for that submission, Kat. Okay, so moving on to what I've called the real questions. If Arlene and Gwen had still been at Maeve's Tavern when Ulidic got there, how do you think that interaction would have gone?
That would have been a clusterfuck. Right?
It is an interesting... Like, okay.
It's a good question.
Let's game it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is better by asking this question. I think this is better insight than our listeners could have ever hoped for into a lot of our writing meetings, which are just like us standing dumbstruck for a while saying, interesting.
My first question would be like, did Eloine send letters or talk at all about like the noblewoman? So like what sort of like how up to date is Elidic on like the, you know, missing Arlene, etc. situation? Like, would she have figured it out, or would the disguises have actually like worked and tricked her?
That's a good.
That well, because then you go back to was it Davod, the guy who was the pigeon keeper that was supposed to that Eloine was supposed to use to send back messages constantly, and kind of dropped that as quickly as possible.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I don't know. That's a tough, because I think Eloine would want to.
Yeah, I don't know that Eloine would have had. He would want to, but not enough to like talk to Davod more than he had to.
Oh, hell no.
So I don't know that he would have had a chance to like update Elidic on like the goings on, like the political intrigue. So I guess the question is like, what do Arlene and Gwen think when this like weird trying to be sneaky elf shows up when they're working? And what does Elidic even notice the baby?
My instinct would be to try to make the hard answer, which is because I feel like just anyone with a writer's bone in their body would be dreading the complications of Elidic actually seeing the baby, knowing the situation, and it coming down to whether or not she's going to make a choice. And I think that really is like, does Elidic actually care enough to look the other way or even protect or just to even confront? I feel like it's that's where my head goes. It's like, I feel like there might be a confrontation. And then how is that going to end? I don't know.
I mean, you can imagine a world where Elidic is kind of in the same position that Eloine was at the start of book 2. And that is kind of where she is, just in a albeit in a different way. Yeah.
I am also wondering how Arlene and Gwen react to it. Because it's a lot of focus on the like Elidic's like a paranoid wizard trying to be a rogue in Dungeons and Dragons kind of situation. Like just but like Arlene and Gwen are in full like don't mess and we do not trust.
Yeah.
But yeah, that question of like how much did Eloine say about well, yeah, because then it's also is this Arlene and Gwen before or after?
Yeah, it depends a lot on exactly when this happened. It's like it's hard because the moment that Arlene and Gwen leave the inn is the moment that their like understanding of their world changes very significantly, you know?
Yeah. I feel like they would probably end up murdering her, and then there'll be a whole like that's why I feel like that would probably somehow get out of hand, and then just I don't know.
Wow. Wait, okay.
Yeah. That's I definitely.
But I will say that Elidic doesn't she wouldn't leave the forest without something, you know, kind of like pushing her to question things that she's been told. And like she's already a little bit at that point when we meet her. So I think that's gotta come. Like, I don't think she would just like uncritically toe the line. I think, as you were kind of getting at before, Paul, I think the question is like, okay, but how much is she willing to actually put on the line for this, you know, kind of newfound consciousness?
Yeah. I honestly like I catch her as like I don't know, for lack of a better reason, like a fake ally. Like when it comes down to it, she's just gonna be like, yeah, but No. And so like in my head, I'm like, what if there's that, I don't know, if there's some guards or just there's some, do you know what I mean? And she's just like, and like, it's not even like she tells on them. She just, they're like, they kind of can tell 'cause she keeps giving it away. She's looking in their direction. They go over and check. And she just sits there and watches it happen. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's interesting because I think, and hopefully this doesn't spoil too much about where we're going, but I think something I'd like to explore with Yelidik is like I almost kind of see her as like I look to Jane Fonda a lot when I'm thinking about Yelidik, and I think like when we meet her, you know, she's very much like what you're saying about fake ally. Like she's a little bit clueless. Yeah. She's, you know, she's kind of sheltered, and she's like saying the edgy thing for the aesthetic of it. But she's increasingly, and that's not like, I don't want to say like, I don't want to underplay your instinct to mistrust that. But I would like to see what happens as more and more things happen to Yelidik that could genuinely radicalize her.
Right.
I think that's an interesting thing to explore, especially because like her brother is taking a somewhat parallel path.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Part of me wonders if Yelidik would just run more as well.
Yeah.
Because if she's motivated at least to leave the forest by fear, seeing and feeling the overbearing like culture of the elves is just like, oh, this is happening here right now. I haven't finished processing this.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm out. Kind of thing.
And she is more, you know, she is like, she's definitely more sheltered than Yellowing. And I mean, you know, she has less like practice and capacity for so which in some of these situations is unfortunately a useful skill.
Yeah. So part of me wonders if she becomes the weird hermit elf in the nearby woods, like kind of thing. Just fully goes and just with a few interactions, and then being forced to face the thing, the truth that she doesn't want to. She hasn't figured out how to deal with. Just flees.
Yeah.
But
I think that is also a possible outcome. And maybe like the experience of like you could see how that calcifies into continuing to not put anything on the line, and you could also see how that motivates her to like dig in her heels the next time.
Yeah. Is it shame or is it like reinforcement that like she makes this one decision to flee, and then is it like, oh, that was great, and you know, that's a great little character development there. You know, does she fold within her own privilege, or does she take some shame in the previous decision and kind of make a different choice in the next time or the next occasion?
Yeah. And it's interesting that this conversation went in that direction, because we have a cluster of questions that are related and maybe a little heavy, but I think worth addressing. All also from Kat, so thank you, Kat. The first is, do modern people west of the mountains or elves have queer folks that are accepted by their societies? And what is the purpose of elves encouraging human homophobia? I think there are definitely parts of this world where queer folks are more accepted than in others. Like, I mean, I definitely think like in like Regan's circles, it's less of a big deal, and kind of like the more that you don't give a shit about making the elves happy, the more accepted that, you know, difference of any kind is like acceptable. Which like, and I think it's a really good question. What is the purpose of elves encouraging human homophobia? And my answer is that it is useful for any oppressor to create hierarchies within the oppressed. One, because it stops, it's a bulwark against solidarity among the people you are oppressing. Two, because you can, it makes it easy to know where to apply pressure when you need to keep that population under control. And three, you can convince the people who are at the top of that hierarchy within the oppressed groups. You can get them to kind of do your dirty work for you and get their hands dirty and be the bad guys. So I think, and like a lot of the elves, we in a lot of ways they have like very like permissive sexual mores when they're just in their own society. We've shown that. So I think a lot of them know, like, this is nothing, but it is very useful to establish hierarchies wherever they can, and especially to like enforce patriarchy, because that makes like property and inheritance very easy to control, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if anybody. I'll open it up if anybody has something they want to add before we move on to the next question that is a little similar.
I mean, I totally agree. I think that's just, it's how any oppressive group would divide and conquer. I mean, if you can create a straw man or a certain type of like scapegoat in which to kind of heap problems, or at least to kind of direct the attention of the oppressed population toward, then I think that it just serves a larger purpose of keeping the masses docile while fighting amongst each other. So yeah, it makes sense to me.
Well, the next question is Renault transphobic? Does he know trans people exist? I'll tackle the second one first. I always try to hesitate about to one-to-one map our understanding of sexuality and gender onto these characters who live in a very different world. But because I don't want to put words in their mouth, if that makes sense. If they understand their identities differently than I would. But I will say, I think especially in Regan's circles, you would definitely encounter people who are moving through the world and through society as a different gender than the one they were assigned at birth. So I think in the same way that some sheltered kid from the Midwest who goes to NYU would then encounter trans people in Lower Manhattan, I think Renault would be aware that something like this exists. And is Renault transphobic? Yeah, probably. I think because and not to get too analytical about it.
Renault is every kind of bigot.
Renault is
loud about it half the time. So.
Yeah. And I think Renault is also I think that a lot of transphobia and homophobia comes from people knowing on some level that compulsory patriarchy and heterosexuality is actually an impossible standard that no real human being can be contained by 100% of the time. And the more that you hurt yourself and the more that you hurt people around you trying to enforce that impossible standard, the more propensity there can be to resent people who just say, fuck it, and I'm the way I want to be. And Renault is somebody who has put himself and the people he cares about through a lot of shit to be a man as he understands it. So and the fact that he is unself-critical and selfish is that is a recipe for homophobia and for transphobia for sure. And also I think he's the kind of hypocrite who's Yeah, I've made myself like literally a like walking, rotting meat puppet, but somehow like a vaginoplasty is a bridge too far. Anyway,
yeah. He also strikes me as the kind of like, I'm educated and have read about science, and therefore science says that if you have this, that means.
Yeah, totally. He's definitely someone who like uses his formal education as a cudgel without any genuine desire to understand other people.
You know, I think it's just more of the character acting, but in my head canon, I'm not saying I think this is what you were trying to write, but it feels almost like along the lines of like he has repressed himself so much that he is resentful of folks who are like out. And just the character voice itself reminds me so much of these queer-coded Disney characters that it's right. So I'm just like, I'm kind of enjoying it of just like imagining, you know, Jafar just being like, oh, absolutely not. Never would I ever. Like, it's just great. It's, you know.
Or Squidward.
Yeah. Oh, Squidward. Oh, I love it. Yeah. Squidward. Very, very Squidward. I mean, I think it's brilliant. I think it's a very fun character to think of in that way where, you know, probably is in some ways closeted in parts of his own queerness, but then also kind of projects that in some way, or at least just like harkens back to the age of the Hays Codes and everything else, where there's so many queer coded characters and stuff. So yeah. That's why I was thinking about, like, as soon as I remember you sent the questions. That's one question I thought was so brilliant. Just because it made me think of so many other things in the depth of who this character is, really.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I also sort of just am thinking about like how the like online discourse has like really evolved over the past like 5 years. When we sort of maybe it was that long ago we started writing and thinking about Renault, where it was like very much like Gamergate, like men's rights sort of like inspired, and how it's like really like that sort of like persona online has like really expanded their targets.
Yeah. But it's like, it's all of a piece, right? Like it's that like, it's like the personality defects that lead you to do one thing will lead you to do the other things, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the last question in this batch says, not a question, but trans rights. Yes, absolutely. All day, every day.
Yes.
For all of the reasons we said, I don't want to get too soapboxy here, but some soapboxing I think is justified. You know, you should care about trans rights and trans liberation because trans people are humans who deserve dignity, and you should also care because none of us is free until all of us is free, and because don't be a stooge. Don't be a stooge for the people with their boot on your neck who want you to, I don't know, be mad about somebody playing volleyball while they're robbing you. Fucking support trans rights because it's the right thing to do, and because any stick that you give people to beat trans people with, they will turn around and hit you with it as soon as they think they can get away with it. So
yeah. Much agreed.
Yeah, trans rights.
I mean, that's trans rights. What was the is that Bell Hooks? Someone said something about the liberation of. I know it's definitely in the Gambahi River collective, Sisters River Collective, but they talked about like, you know, the liberation of those who are marginalized the most is the liberation for all. And so like when you think of, you know, in terms of navigating sexuality or navigating gender identity, those who are even just straight men, cis like men or whatever, they're going to have far more freedom because they're not going to be oppressed by the different strictures or policing of the body and behavior that comes with toxic masculinity, which is used to enforce and police gender norms. So yeah, like that's so spot on. I mean, if you want liberation for yourself, you want liberation for everyone.
No, totally. It's like, you know, if it's so small to try and be the version of a man that patriarchy says you have to be. And like, even if you examine your gender and decide that like, I am the gender I was assigned at birth, trans people being free means you can do that gender in any way you want. And to harken back to my rant on the last Ask the Once and Future Nerd, you can drink a fucking lemonade once in a while and it doesn't have to be like a whole big crisis of identity.
Yeah, it's so real.
Okay, great. So we'll move on to the fun ones now. RJ, really appreciate your Taskmaster question. I think we'll come back to it at the end if we have time. But I do want to... This is what we have to do. For those of you who weren't following our social media, back in February around Valentine's Day, our Tumblr fandom put together a bracket of the sexiest Once and Future Nerd characters, and when Tumblr introduced polls and litigated all of that. So we got one question: who is the sexiest Once and Future Nerd character, and why was Antonin Mooncrest robbed of his rightful title? That is RJ. And Kat says, who do you think should have won the sexiest Once and Future Nerd competition? And I put it to Twitter whether we should use our Ask episode to relitigate this. I got 65% of respondents said yes, 0% of respondents said no, and 35% of respondents said, what are you doing? Ask HR instead of Twitter. But the yeses had it. Now, with that in mind, I am going to make the caveat. We're going to be very careful. Everyone here plays a character who is on the bracket. We are talking about the character.
Actually,
Greg just has to decide. We are talking about the characters, and we need to put up a brick wall as much as possible between the characters and the actors who play them, because otherwise this conversation, which is maybe towing the line of appropriateness, is going to take an Olympic long jump leap over that line. But with that in mind, so Ren ended up winning the bracket, which I will say I actually think is a very defensible choice. This is not to say like Ren doesn't deserve it. It's to say that I think a lot of fan favorites got knocked out earlier than they should have. And Kat, our super fan Kat, who made the original poll, has since publicly admitted that she has learned a few things about how to seed a tournament after making the bracket, and implying that she might have done the seeding differently. So I have redone the seeds, and I've built upon the work of Tumblr because the results of their poll have informed the seeding of this new bracket. So with all that preamble out of the way, let's go ahead and do this. Our first showdown is round one is between number 1 seed Ren versus number 16 seed Ardell. I don't know that this merits discussion. I think we can. Just worth noting, I think Ardell is got to be the least sexy character in the entire, like, even maybe including Renault, because at least Renault is like good at some things.
I'm just a little hurt by that, Christian.
It's the character.
Just a little bit. It's a character, but it's a piece of me.
Does anybody want to say something in Ardell's defense?
Oh no.
Nope. Great. Yep. Okay. All right. Ren sails through the first round.
Dan,
okay.
At least you made the list. I'll just say.
No. All right. Next round one contest, we have an 8 seed Antonin Mooncrest versus a 9 seed Brennan.
Oh, you're putting the heavy hitters up the front.
I mean, well, that's interesting seeding.
Yeah.
I mean, you have like.
I think Brennan's just so sexy.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
That's hard. Dang, yo.
Rough and gruff.
That slow emotional growth, you've got going.
Well, but that's exactly the thing. It's like. I think Antonin is already kind of more in touch with himself than like.
Yeah.
Brennan, I mean, I could see how like Brennan makes for better fan fiction because there's all that like pining and stuff. But like, I think day to day, it would be tough to be with someone as closed off as, although that's not sexy now that like that we're talking about sexy, not who you want to be in a relationship with.
I mean, that's
There's a
hard.
difference. Yeah.
I feel like relationship material can be super sexy. I don't know. That's it's two different types of sexiness. It just makes it so difficult, you know?
I would argue I think like Antonin's kind of like emotional intelligence, I think is sexy. Mm-hmm. But Brennan, I mean,
I think to your point about fan fiction, I think Brennan is great in like the one night of passion he allows to let himself have off the charts.
Right.
Gonna be crazy. Mm-hmm. But Antonin like will hold your hand without sweating about it, you know?
Yeah.
Like
it's like, I mean, it's like, do you want like one incredible experience that it like fucks you up for a while, or do you want like consistently good sex?
Yeah,
that's maybe not
it's
as
peaks
like,
and valleys versus
like a nice little I don't know, a hill or a plateau. They just kind of go. That sounds so boring, but it also sounds great. I don't know.
A rocky mesa.
A rocky mesa. There we go.
I'm gonna vote Antonin just on the grounds that like, you know, self-actualization I think is sexy. I'm casting my vote in for Antonin, but you know, we all get a vote here.
I'll second that vote. I just feel like he that's the one thing about that separates them is that he's able to he's able to empathize on such a level that I find that more attractive than the, you know, gruff, mysterious man that's just like, you know, sometimes I have a dark secret and I got things. I'm like, all right, cool. That's great. But just someone who could just talk to and actually like listen and actually know exactly what's going on without you having to explain too much and actually accept you. I think that was the biggest thing that I thought was so great about, Antonin's character is that he even at that rejection point from his wife, he literally is just like, no, that works. I see that. There's compersion.
Yeah.
That is such a real and valuable thing. I think that goes leaps and bounds above just, you know, the night of passion that would happen. You know what I mean?
Do we just need to vote? This is tough. This is a tough one.
It is a tough one. Yeah, I mean, an 8 seed versus a 9 seed is going to be
always
tough.
going to be close.
That's going to be tough.
Currently, it's 2-0 Antonin.
I'm gonna just say like every point you guys made was actually really convincing. And that's like the good route to go. But I'm as stubborn as Brennan is, so I'm just gonna stick with like my first choice with Brennan.
So all right, so we're 2-1 Antonin.
Oh, I'm Brennan. It's kind of the accent for me though.
It's the accent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the accent. Yeah, the Scottish accent.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, Greg, it's on to you.
Boy. Oh, the tiebreaker. Oh Lord. Greg, I will cash app you $5.
No.
Greg.
No, there's a wall. There's a wall between the actors.
I'm lobbying. Let me lobby.
I think if we had a bit of a time warp, then maybe I'd go Brennan, but I'm going to give it to Antonin.
Okay.
Ooh, there it is.
That was a close one. Deservedly so. I will say, Greg, you've made the fandom very, very happy. Like, one of the biggest things they were upset about was feeling like Antonin got knocked out too early in the first one. Okay. Yes. So Antonin advances. Okay. Next, this is another one. I think I know where we're going to land. We have a 4 seed Arlene Redmore versus a 13 seed. Oh, wait a minute. McGuire. Okay. Arlene versus McGuire. This is an interesting one because we've learned a lot about McGuire since this poll originally went up. Now, he is undead, and his flesh is currently rotting, which is definitely, I mean, he's a 13 seed, but it's like, there are upsets in 13 seed matches.
What?
I mean, I'm voting Arlene, but I'm just saying, like, I think there's enough to keep it interesting.
Yo, you sound like the CNN town hall right now. they're perfect. There are arguments to be made. No.
There are constituents for an undead, flesh-rotting, stoic, one-word syllabled axe wielder.
Yeah, I mean, I think Arlene's got it. I think Arlene's got it. I just want to say that I think McGuire is a really good guy, and again, like self-actualization is
I'd love to have a
sexy.
beer with McGuire, watch it run through his body.
Yeah,
Just fall out.
on the floor.
But the category is sexiest character, so no.
Yeah, I think
What are we
Arlene's
gonna
got
do?
it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Anybody want to disagree? Yeah, okay, no. All right, good. Arlene advances. Okay, next we have a 5-seed Regan versus a 12-seed Reloteat. This is another...
Oh, easy.
Yeah, this is it's like everything that could be sexy about Ree is also sexy about Regan, and she's not evil. It's like that...
Yeah.
That's like, unless the evil specifically is your thing, I think you gotta go Regan. And Regan is still like scary, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like it's, I feel like Regan,
scary's sexy though.
Yeah, like Regan tops out because she has the chaotic neutral thing going. It's not chaotic evil. That's just enough where you're like, oh, I feel slightly safe, and that works.
Right.
That's good.
It's like,
you know?
Yeah. Like she won't balk if you ask her to like spit in your mouth, but she's not gonna like do a genocide. I think is probably
And neither of them will, like, a week later would probably be like, who are, what?
Yeah.
What?
What? Now, I was just imagining she spits in your mouth, but I feel like Realty would whisper in your ear, "It's poison."
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah. Something I've definitely I told our fans this is that watching them see this bracket, do this bracket, they seem to enjoy men they feel very safe around and women who might murder them and nothing in between. And I get it.
It's just the internet.
Excellent. Excellent choice.
Okay. Okay. Our next matchup in the first round. A number 2 seeded Bryce Riverfell versus a number 15 seeded Renault.
It's Bryce. Let's.
Yeah. These are
How
really
did
easy
Renault,
matchups now.
How is
another flesh rotting off the bones situation. Undead.
And with none of
sexy.
the personality of McGuire.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like no one, like the zombie movies are not the like.
Yeah,
sexy
I mean, there's a
thrillers.
contingent for everything, but and no judgment. But I mean, Renault's personality is as heinous as his physicality.
How is Renault on? No disrespect, but
How does Renault get ahead of any of your character?
Do we really not have that many other major characters that those ones
No,
made the top three?
I think Kat was maybe having a laugh. I think by including Renault and Ree. But
what's the name? Is it Arden? What's the Conan the Barbarian? The character I always forget the actual name of.
Arden the Annihilator.
Arden the Annihilator. Oh. Also not on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would actually. Okay, now I'm wondering, like, because it would screw up the seating. But do we put a Bryce versus?
No, I don't think we. I think we move forward.
Okay.
I'm airing my grievances.
That's fair, and that's fair. That's fair. All right. Now we move into another interesting one. I think we've got
This one is
7 seed Traft versus a 10 seed Dagmar, who I think we've
Dagmar
met
again?
Dagmar for like 15 minutes.
Yeah. I am drawing a blank here. Dagmar was with who?
Is this lovers turned rivals?
Yes. Dagmar was a queen in the time of Gunther's father, and she, I believe, she was Traft's lover at some point, and did also play into his radicalization a bit and had all kinds of like sneaky plans in the background and stuff. And now I'm stumbling over my words because I've forgotten how much we've actually revealed of what Dagmar is up to. This might be the most challenging one to talk about just because I can't remember what we've already said.
Yep. That's
real.
Yep. And for that reason, I'm voting Traft.
I don't think anybody would be heartbroken to see Traft advance.
Yeah.
I think we can send Traft through unless anybody really wants to make the Dagmar case. Other than just like it's lovely to hear Julie Reed's voice, but that's the only. But again, brick wall. Okay, all right. So it's Traft.
Yeah. It's Traft.
Okay, good. All right, now we have a number 3 seed Gwen versus a 14 seed Jethro.
Wait, who? Jethro?
Jethro is the scary woodsman guy who has like a bunch of cannibalized corpses in his root cellar.
Oh my god.
So
Okay.
It's Gwen, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Traft.
How do, so he has a love of food though, right?
Oh
He's a bit of a foodie.
Oh, he does
But Gwen can cook. Gwen can cook.
That's true.
yeah,
Gwen
true.
can cook.
Yeah. All right, great. And the last one for the first round is a 6 seed Maeve Bailey versus an 11 seed Nia. This is another interesting one, I think.
Right. Nia wins, right? Yeah, I think.
She's smart.
Really?
She's smart.
She's very capable. She's very empathetic. These are all good arguments for Nia. Maeve, I feel like, is very...
Yeah, but like Maeve fucks.
Yeah.
No, that's where my brain
Maeve
was.
do be fucking.
Yeah.
I would also probably lean Nia if I'm being honest, but Maeve's out there. All respect, but I have a soft spot for the Willow from Buffy almost archetype. Nia kind of falls into.
Hold up now. Let me look this up. Willow from Buffy? Oh, yeah.
Played by Allison
Huge crush
Hannigan.
on her growing up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, now that's yeah, that's a hard choice.
Well, I'm going with Maeve because she has a job.
Oh yeah.
Nothing sexier.
She's got her own place.
Yeah.
She's got her own room.
She knows how
She's a
to take
small
care of
business
herself.
owner. Actually, no, she's
Right,
franchising.
right?
So yeah.
What's Nia out here doing? Just recanting a bunch of spells. What's that nonsense? I don't know. But yeah. Wait,
I think it goes to Christian.
Oh, shit.
Shoot. Uh-oh. Yeah, tiebreaker. Uh-oh.
Ooh. This is not...
Do we need to do more pros and cons here?
Now, I'm gonna... Oof. Nah, fuck it. I gotta go Maeve. Unfortunately, I really, I love Nia. Wow. She's definitely the marry. But I gotta just gut level. I gotta go Maeve. Gotta go Maeve.
Damn.
Oh,
Okay.
good choice.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
So, okay. So, now our second round, we've got Ren versus Antonin. Is a tough one.
Oh shit. I think Antonin still pulls out on that one. I don't know.
Again, this comes down to I think this is just purely a matter of taste. Like, man you are safe around or woman who will kill you.
Yeah. It's like one's like an adventure, the other one's like, okay, I can settle down and raise a family. That's I'm 36. That's sexy as fuck for me. I don't know. I gotta go with Anton. That works for me. That actually works.
I'm thinking of the kind of relationship that, and stay with me here.
Okay.
That the Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley have at the end of the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
What?
Where Orlando Bloom's character is constantly at sea, but can come to shore one day, a year, or whatever. I'm like, I could.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I could do that with Ren. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
That sounds like settling. Oh my gosh, that sounds like so much settling. Like, I don't know. Oh boy. That sounds like your friends who just come, like you just walk into your room or walk into your apartment one day and all your friends are there and they're like, look, Ren's not coming back. I just want to we should talk about this.
We need to have a talk.
You need to have a talk. I hate seeing you like this. I hate it. I don't know. It's just, oh God.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, well, here, does sexy mean attractive or does sexy mean you want to have sex with them? Like, I think that's like a genuine linguistic question. Because again, like, I'm going to keep coming back to, like, in terms of like attractiveness, like having your shit together and being empathetic and all, like, that's very attractive. But in terms of just like, you know, groin chakra stuff, I'm going towards the woman who will kill me over the man I am safe around.
That's a perfect. See, for me, I totally think it's both, right? Like you in a lot of ways, like the attractiveness leads to sexiness, if that makes any sense. I don't know. Like that to me is like almost combined where, you know, and I also just feel like someone who's empathetic is going to be more adaptive and like can listen to you, know what you want in the bedroom.
Yeah,
more so
I mean,
than,
that is a thing. Like I with Antonin, I think that's going to be a huge point in his favor, is that like he is game for like pretty much anything you're into.
Yeah. I feel like Grim would be a really selfish lover. Like no shade. I mean, super fun, but I don't know.
Right? Like
I don't know.
If Ren's thing is your thing, you're gonna have a great time. But if it's not, then you're shit out of luck.
Yeah. That's just how that's the impression I get. I'm like, I don't know.
I vote Antonin.
Wow, going against the champion.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still into the pirate. So
Yeah, that's fair.
I vote Ren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go Ren because every time, I mean, you're talking sexy again. It's like, I'm like, yeah, rough around the edges always gets me. That's just like,
that does it for you. Tickles
me a little bit. Yeah.
So it's Greg. Greg is the tiebreaker again, I think.
Here we go.
Oh God.
All right, Greg. Wait. You know what? Let's be real here. Still a little quid pro quo, but not quid pro quo.
What? Are we in the cash app out again? Let's go.
Greg's gonna come out flushing in his live stream.
Oh God.
This is.
Say, Greg. What's your character? What's some of your characters? I just want to know. You know, as a list.
See, he's not on. He's the like the most objective. He doesn't have any characters on this list.
No,
so
come on.
He can't be swayed that way.
It doesn't disqualify me. In fact, it makes me even more qualified.
More powerful.
I'm gonna go with Ren because I feel like we could have a fun drinking contest.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay, Ren's got it. But it was a close one, and like. We have sung the praises. So fandom, we agree with you. Antonin is very sexy. It's just it's
a very close call.
Yeah.
Alas, Antonin fandom.
We hardly knew you, but yes, there's a lot of love. There's a lot of deserved love for Antonin. Okay. Arlene versus Regan.
Oh, well, Regan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's Regan.
Yeah,
it's Regan. Yeah.
Regan.
Wait, really?
Boom.
I wasn't really paying attention as much to the first round because I'm bad at tracking things.
Oh no.
And so I was like, is it Arlene versus
That's-
Gwen?
yeah, that would
Oh no.
No, it's Regan.
For what it's worth, I would have gone
Yeah.
Arlene,
Would you?
but I'm outvoted in this situation. Yeah.
Well, just state the case for Arlene.
Won't
Won't murder you?
won't murder me. Generally, probably knows where she stands at any given moment, and magic.
Yeah, no, that's true, magic. But I gotta go Regan. I gotta go Regan because I feel like Arlene is maybe not fully as actualized as like Antonin, so I'm definitely going for the woman who will kill me, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the magic voice thing though. That's
There's a reason
there's
she's a
something
force
there.
but it's just that's how it look at. No one's saying that Arlene isn't sexy. It's just
The magic
That's the first,
voice. Now
that's
I'm
the
thinking
first
of like.
seating
Oh,
upset.
go ahead.
what's that?
Yeah.
That's the first seating upset.
Yeah.
That's a 5 to 4.
Yeah. All right. Bryce versus Traft.
Trapped. Come at me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like messy. We can do messy. Trapped. Oh yeah. That's a tortured little boy living in a big old man's body. That works for me. We can do that, right? Boom.
I think Bryce has kind of like the Disney prince, but like he's like the prince from Tangled, who's like not really a prince, who's like more of a rogue, but he's got the really good hair.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like Bryce had really good hair.
And like Bryce, like he's like an older guy, but he's in good shape. And that's definitely a lot of people's thing.
Yeah.
Like,
And like he's, it's like Traft is maybe a little scarier than Bryce, but I think he's also more principled. So that's
Yeah.
he has ideals.
And Bryce
You
has
know?
ideals, but he's just. I think Traft has a little bit more moral courage, but also sometimes a little too much moral courage, maybe.
Yeah. And do what it needs to be done.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
There's I think Traft would lead from the front more than Bryce would. I get that vibe of like I'm with the people, like, and Bryce is close with his crew.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I don't think he's out in the. I never got the sense he was out in the field as much.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is sexy
Fair.
about Traft.
Another upset.
Yeah. No, I think I think it's Traft.
Yeah.
Does anybody disagree?
What type of hair does Trapped have?
He's bald.
Never thought of that.
Shaved head, like tattoos and shit all over it.
You know what?
I forgot about the tattoos. They're pretty sexy.
The tattoos.
That gets most people, for sure.
Perfect.
Bryce can sing though. There is that. We need to take that into account.
Yeah.
That's
What is this? A musical?
gonna make that joke. Oh Lord, I was gonna be like, listen, we all did theater before. Singing, dime a dozen. No.
All right,
Yeah.
it's Traft. Cool. Okay, and then we have Gwen versus Maeve Bailey.
Oh.
I think their sexiness is quite similar.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just differed by age.
Yeah. And it's like, do you go with experience?
Wait, where are the ages again? Remind me their ages.
I mean, Gwen is probably like 20s, whereas Maeve Bailey is like probably late 40s, early 50s.
Oh.
Experience.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
here's my Gwen argument. Like, Maeve Bailey, the experience counts for a lot. But she's kind of like, I mean, she's been getting laid the whole, like, basically when she wanted to. Whereas Gwen kind of got that like canned heat aspect. You know what I mean? So I think that's swaying me towards Gwen.
Really? Totally opposite. I'm more leaning towards I'm leaning towards Bailey. I feel like Gwen, I don't know. Just 20-year-olds. Oh my God.
Well, 20s, not 20s. Not.
Are we talking early or late 20s? That's a big decisive.
Yeah, that's a good point. And
there.
I forget off the top of my head exactly where she fits. But I mean, I think she's got a lot of life experience. Like, I think we can say her life experience is equivalent to a mid to late 20s, even if she is actually early 20s.
I mean, I don't listen. I feel like that's something that, like, oh gosh, now I'm sounding super old. I'm sounding like an old spouse. Like, that's something that young people say when they don't have experience, actually. But you know what? No. It has to be Bailey for me.
Okay.
Bailey for me. No. Yeah. I feel like it takes a little bit longer to get that emotional, maturity. Even if you experience so much, just to actually handle it, and then your brain has to, like, develop. I think what was it, 25? Your brain actually your frontal lobe fully develops or whatever, something like that.
At least
right?
according to the
I thought it was 16.
actuaries who rent cars.
Wait, say this again? What?
Well, like, you're only allowed to rent a car at 25. So that's when, like, somebody looking at an actuarial table has decided you're about as responsible as you're going to be.
Hey, and they got money on the line, so I trust them. They're like, listen, not going to lose this money today. 25. You know, Bailey. Small business owner, got a head on her shoulders. Focus, drive.
Yeah.
Know what she wants. It's great.
I think we're realizing that we all think having a job is very sexy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Gwen
It is for me.
job.
Shit.
Gwen's
That's
had
true.
a job
Yeah,
like all her life.
You know what? That's a great point. That's a great
Gwen's
point.
been working all the time.
That's a good point.
She's got many skills.
No,
Yeah.
I'm Team Gwen on this one, although I absolutely see the appeal of Maeve.
Yeah, I also understand the appeal of Maeve, but the difference to me is that, like, Maeve, like, yes, she was her job, it was part of her what she needed to do to make a living, but, like, she was pining after Bryce and didn't, like, act on it as much.
Ooh.
Whereas,
Dang.
like, I mean, she acted here. I'm just thinking of, like, Gwen was like, I'm getting on this fucking horse and we're gonna go get Arlene.
Yeah.
Like, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe that's, like, youth and the passions therein, but I don't know. I go Gwen on that one. Maybe doesn't make as good a loaf of bread, but it's Gwen.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like she can bake.
Yeah.
She can bake for sure, and it's just gonna get better, and you're gonna get to taste that as it's developing.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. No, I want better now. No.
No, it's still. Oh yeah, if you want the real good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I want 35 years of bacon and everything and knowledge and all that business acumen baked into the crust. Oh God, I want to be tasting spreadsheets and, like, knowledge and wisdom that comes from, like, being on this earth for half a century. That works for me. But
I want to taste that pivot table in this muffin.
I hear your arguments. They are good arguments. I'm Team Gwen.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just cracking jokes. Actually, this is a good question though. Would Gwen or Maeve be comfortable baking with someone? Which one do you think is more likely to be I'll bake with you? I can actually and not lose their temper or whatever.
Maeve is 100% get the fuck out of my kitchen. I think Gwen, it depends.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. See, now that makes me bend towards Gwen. Team player, able to be a leader in a way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What's the vote
I think Gwen
now?
eventually might let you in.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, what are we at? Are we?
I feel like Gwen won.
Yeah, I think Gwen
won. Gwen
Yeah.
won.
Okay, because I was gonna say Maeve, but that's just I'm biased.
Wait, no. Well, then we wouldn't have the votes anyway. It's fine. Okay.
Three.
Yeah.
I think it was already one-sided.
Done deal. Yeah.
Yeah, Maeve just reminds me of somebody I had a crush on when I was in college. So I'm just sticking with that.
You know what?
We had a lot of good conversations.
And Irish accent. But
Good.
But
yeah.
I think I am Team Gwen. But it's a close one. Okay. Let's okay. Before we're here all night, what do we have? We have 2 matches left and then a finals round. And also my screen won't turn back on. So if anybody has that Google Doc and could remind me what the matches are, we'll try to bang them out before we're here too long.
I think it's Ren Regan
Yes.
and
Traft.
Gwen Traft.
Gwen Traft.
That one's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very.
That's an interesting one because it's the exact opposite. It's a woman you're safe with and a man who will kill you.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Look at that. Okay. Wait, who's up next then? Who's the next?
Ren versus Regan. So 2 women who will definitely kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Regan. I think Regan could win in a fight, so technically Regan would be really... Yeah. No? You think Ren would win?
I think it's a close fight.
I think it's a very close fight.
Yeah.
Well, Regan's been really injured for a long time.
That's
so
true.
I feel like his current state of Regan or full power.
Right.
And we have the core group, the core party that would probably pitch in with Regan, but Ren has a full ship of crewmates that if it came down, to fully throwing down.
Well, you know what? I mean, if you're talking Regan is bringing in what? You got the kids, you got Brennan, you got technically maybe Yoling would be there. I think they're separated still, but Yoling might come through.
Okay, but it's not directly who would win in a fight. It is who's sexier.
It's all related to the sexiness.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out.
I mean, it's tough because they're both they're sexy in such a similar way. They're such similar characters who are maybe just in slightly different circumstances.
Yeah. But Ren travels a lot more, I feel like.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Somebody who travels, that's sexy to me.
Got a little je ne sais quoi. That's true.
Not that Regan does not, but she's more on land.
Yeah.
I feel like Regan would be a survivor in terms of you would never ever go hungry. I mean, I don't know.
See, I feel like Regan is up for anything and Ren is up for her thing. So I feel like that's kind of that's why I think that Regan
you
is
just
sexier.
switched me on that one.
That's real.
Yeah.
You switched me on that.
I think.
Agreed.
Yeah. Also,
Deciding
there's only
factor right there.
Ren kind of can't come ashore, and there's only so much you can do on a boat. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, boats are really shaky. I mean, no solid footing. You know, it's gonna be problematic later on.
Yeah. It is. I mean, yeah. Ren is very sexy and was a very defensible choice for the fan poll, but I think Regan's got it.
Yeah.
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 Unanimous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got fully swapped on that. Very good point.
That Regan's up for anything, yeah. Regan's up for anything as long as it makes someone somewhere uncomfortable.
Perfect.
Okay, and then what is it? Gwen Traft?
Gwen and Traft.
You know what? Like, I think Trapped, yeah, right? Trapped wins.
Yeah, I think
That's
solely
like
on
the
the tattoos.
Killmonger of the universe. Yeah, tattoos.
Forgot about the tattoos, so.
Forgot about the tattoos, yeah.
Yeah.
God. Honestly, that's.
I'm
Go ahead.
gonna
No, so
vote.
good.
I'm gonna vote for Gwen. I'm okay with Traft winning. I just want it I want to be on the record of just like, I think she's got so many skills like that and that like a lot more like I tried camping and I don't love it. Okay, and I just feel like Gwen. They both have skills, Traft and Gwen, but Gwen has many more domestic skills, which I think is just gonna like fit with my steez better.
Yeah, I'm also leaning Gwen, but I'm totally okay with Traft moving on.
Yeah.
I would say this for Trapped. The guy knows how to convince some people. I mean, you got Smith the Smith.
Yeah,
he knows
basically
how to
be
talk.
like,
no, he's very
knows how to
charismatic.
talk. Very could talk somebody into making food for us. I mean, that's easy. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
Give a nice little monologue about the origin of the orcs, and boom, now you got the whole bar. It's just like, yeah, oh,
It's a different like Traft. It's like a grill dad versus like a lesbian cupcake mom. Like that's like one of them bakes for like the whole like polycule, and the other one is like, I'm grilling, don't talk to me. You know what I mean? And so
Holding court at the grill.
yeah.
Like telling stories about crazy raiding groups and parties that happen, and throw me another beer. Just like all this stuff.
All right, so is it? I think people need to jump off soon. So is it?
Oh shoot, yeah, it's 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we send in Traft.
Traft.
Okay, great.
Traft.
So final round then is Regan versus
All right.
Traft.
Oof.
What? Oh, Regan. Yeah.
Yeah. Regan. Those head tattoos are just not doing it for me. I gotta tell you, that's.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it was a bit of a ding in my head. It was like, oh, you're right, Traft. That's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Yeah, and I think Traft like he's brooding and he's got a lot that he's always thinking about. I don't think he's like gonna be as like. Regan's nihilism is gonna make her more present for sex. I think she will be there because that's all she's got going on in that moment. Whereas Traft is like thinking ahead, which is like it's appealing, but he's not gonna be as present.
He's not. He's gonna be thinking about like dead babies and stuff, and like burning villages, and staring listlessly into the fire when you're trying to have a barbecue. I'm like, yo, you gotta come to a party? No, 1 second. No, too much.
Well, he's also a person with he likes to plan things. So if things don't go his way, he'll be uncomfortable.
Yeah. Regan
would be like, oh, whatever.
Right.
She'll roll with it. Yeah.
No wet blanket. No.
Much more fun to be around.
All right, Regan wins. Okay,
So Regan wins.
Character for
Wait, I forget, what was Regan's seed again?
5.
or well, 5 was it 5? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was Regan 5, Traft 7.
All right.
So.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank
Good
you
matchup.
everybody for joining us for this kind of weird stream that I think we made the best of. A pleasure as always. Does anybody have anything they want to plug before we say goodbye?
Ooh, can I plug?
Please.
I can plug. I have a screening of an Afrofuturist time traveling thriller called Willow, House of Griot. And there's a short film version that's playing at Stewart Cinema Sunday, June 18th at 6 p.m. And you can find it at bit.ly. You can find tickets at bit.ly Willow, capital W, gotta capitalize the W, so capital W, Willow screening. And just come and see some wild, crazy shit. If you like Once Feature Nerd, then you'll probably like Willow.
Awesome.
And there you go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sweet.
Y'all better plug something else so I don't look like a big old narcissist. Everyone's so quiet.
I have a cryptic plug of I'm working on something with a theater company I worked with in New York City before the pandemic, and it is going to be really cool, but can't say anything about it yet. So,
Damn.
Is it something that I know anything about, or is it a totally different thing?
I think it's totally. You know some things.
Okay.
You know some things, Christian.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Exciting.
But I will have news about it when it's ready to have newsworthiness.
Great. We definitely look forward to news.
Placeholder for news.
Yeah, placeholder for news.
Yeah. It's a teaser. It's a teaser. That's what it is. You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think it's got some overlap with the fandom, so I feel like it could
if it's the
have
thing,
some fun crossover stuff.
if it's the thing I'm thinking of, then for sure. But in any case, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Huzzah.
I've been screwing around with my uncle's modular synthesizer on Instagram. I haven't done a video in a while, but I've been doing a few of those. That's been fun. Gonna try to do more of those at some point. But yeah. Thank you everybody who joined us and took more time than we were planning to have this really fun conversation. Pleasure to chat as always, and hopefully we'll do it again soon.
All right.
Thanks, Christian. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks everybody.
Thanks, Christian.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Christian.
Bye bye.
Word.